Hello, beautiful community. I just wanted to turn the camera on for less than 5 minutes and just weigh the Belgorod raid for us in terms of consequences and takeaways for all sides. I would say, and I deliberately didn't even think about what I'm going to tell you now, so I just want to sort of almost intuitively throw a couple of brushstrokes on the canvas. I'd feel that insofar as it's possible to isolate incidents from a chain of development and weigh them separately, then this is a win for Ukraine on balance. But I think more interesting than that is that it anticipates in a milder form patterns that are going to manifest more intensely in the months to come. So let's say briefly a bit about both. Ukraine is interested in escalation and instability now. I mean, how can you have anything more unstable than a war where Kremlin is threatening the whole world? But Ukraine is interested in unpredictable events, eliciting unpredictable reactions. And so did Ukraine give Putin an opportunity to do something silly or excessive or strategically self-defeating with this drama? Yeah, it did. And that's important whether he does that or not for Ukraine. So I think that as a kind of psychological operation all round, putting aside even the psychological purpose of distracting us from what's going on in Bakhmut, I think it's roughly effective. The two downsides are obviously the unsavory nature of some of the most visible characters in the Russian volunteer corps. And that's going to be challenging, obviously, in terms of how it'll be exploited by Russian propaganda. And it won't be comfortable for Western leaders, especially as these folks were using Western machinery. So why these unsavory folks using our machinery crossing over into Russian territory? But that is not a catastrophic downside for Ukraine. I think at this point it's going to be fairly easily swallowed by the West without any global implications for Ukraine. But as the war goes on, and we're going to have to see what happens with the counteroffensive, there will be more violence on Russian soil, more unpredictable violence on Russian soil. And that, I believe, means that what Ukraine will be organizing on Russian soil, of course, will not be any kind of full-scale invasion, simply because the West wouldn't be interested in that, and that would confiscate Ukraine's weapon supply from it. But it will be widening and deepening and diversifying. And the West, as it isn't yet, will in the future become increasingly uncomfortable with these operations without necessarily being able to do anything about them. And that's a line that Ukraine is going to push fairly closely, really pushing the West to the edge of discomfort. Because this is an existential situation for Ukraine. Not existential in the sense that Kyiv is going to be taken in 6 months, but existential in the sense that unless dramatic success is visible to the Western leaders during the counteroffensive, there's a risk of the plug being partially pulled on support for Ukraine. So this is a very, very dramatic and extreme situation for Ukraine, where any bit of drama that they can create that could conceivably work out in their favor on balance, they're going to have to try.